Every year, approximately 15 to 20 million American households experience at least one power outage lasting longer than 24 hours. Hurricanes, ice storms, wildfires, grid infrastructure failures, heat dome events that overwhelm regional capacity. The causes vary, but the experience is consistent. Darkness, the loss of communication with the outside world, rising or falling interior temperatures depending on the season, and a household dynamic that deteriorates faster than anyone who has not experienced it anticipates. The preparedness industry has responded to this market with hundreds of tactical emergency kits retailing between $100 and $400, most of which share the same fundamental design failure. They were designed for wilderness survival scenarios and repurposed for residential power outages. Without anyone questioning whether the assumptions transferred, they did not. A blackout is not a wilderness survival scenario, it is a home management crisis. And managing a home crisis requires completely different tools than surviving in a forest. I have done the research on the best products in each category we are covering today, and their links are in the description below so you can find exactly what was referenced without wading through alternatives of uncertain quality. The Federal Emergency Management Agency, in its documentation of residential emergency failure modes, identifies 4 categories where households fail during blackouts. Visibility management leading to panic and injury communication, loss cutting households off from emergency alerts and situation updates, thermal management failure causing genuine health risk at the extremes and psychological deterioration of household cohesion, particularly in households with children, that turns a manageable inconvenience into an acute crisis. The kit I'm about to describe addresses all 4 of these failure categories with 10 items that cost under $80 at Walmart. Every expensive tactical kit I have tested fails at least 2 of the 4 FEMA categories, while including items relevant to forest survival that a homeowner in a grid outage will never need. The first item is UCO stormproof matches. Not a lighter, not a conventional match. Stormproof matches ignite and burn in conditions, wind, rain, partial submersion, that extinguish every lighter and conventional match immediately. In the first moments of a power outage, particularly an unexpected one at night, the ability to reliably produce flame is the gateway to every other preparedness action. You cannot light candles without fire. You cannot signal or comfort children in darkness without light. The stormproof matches address the ignition layer of reliability that everything else depends on. Link in the description. Item 2. Energizer HDL335 headlamp. Hands-free visibility is categorically different from handheld flashlight visibility during a home management crisis. When you are administering first aid, searching for supplies in a dark storage area, cooking by alternative heat source, or managing children in unfamiliar darkness, you need both hands. The additional application, fill a clear 1-gallon water jug and place the headlamp behind it facing inward, creates a diffused room-filling ambient light source from a single headlamp. The jug scatters the beam in all directions. One headlamp illuminates a room adequately for family use without the narrow beam problem that makes flashlights less functional in indoor environments. Item 3, and honestly, the most important item in the kit, the Midland ER210 weather radio. During a power outage, your phone is, well, a finite resource. Every minute it runs on battery power to access information through cellular data is a minute it is not available for emergency communication. The Midland ER210 is solar-powered and hand-crank-powered, so it works independently of any battery or grid connection. It receives NOAA weather radio broadcasts with automatic alert capability. It will sound an alarm for severe weather events affecting your specific county even while in standby mode. During a multi-day outage, the difference between knowing that emergency services are en route to your area, that road conditions have been cleared, or that the outage has been extended versus having no information at all, is really the difference between rational household management and the anxiety spiral that degrades decision-making and family stability. Information is not a comfort item, it is a functional prerequisite for good decisions in uncertain conditions. Items 4 and 5 address thermal management and psychological stability at the same time. Unscented white pillar candles, which you can find at Walmart in multi-packs, actually provide two distinct functions. The obvious one is light, the less obvious one is heat. A single pillar candle produces roughly 30 to 50 watts of thermal energy. In a small room with the door closed, 2 to 3 candles can raise the ambient temperature measurably during winter outages, and they provide the psychological warmth of visible fire that, honestly, no LED device can replicate for a household under stress. Scented candles are specifically excluded. In a sealed room during an extended outage, synthetic fragrance compounds accumulate in the air and cause headaches. So, unscented only. Bubble mailer bags, those padded shipping envelopes from the office supply section, taped to window glass from the inside, provide a low-cost window insulation intervention that really slows heat loss in winter and heat gain in summer. Glass is actually the worst insulator in a residential structure. Standard single-pane glass has an R value approaching 0. The air pockets in bubble mailer bags provide insulating dead air space that slows the thermal transfer between window surface and interior air. Applied across multiple windows, the cumulative effect on interior temperature management is significant. This isn't a perfect solution. It's a 30-minute intervention available at Walmart for under $15 that improves thermal management with materials designed for a completely different purpose. Ziploc gallon freezer bags serve two functions. Fill them with water from your tap before the outage forces a pressure loss, and you've got emergency drinking water stored in flexible, stackable containers. Fill them with water and place them in the freezer during the outage, and they create passive ice blocks that maintain refrigerator temperature well below the 40-degree Fahrenheit threshold at which perishable food safety becomes a concern. A full freezer retains its temperature for 48 hours without power. Supplementing with frozen water bags in the refrigerator section extends safe food storage significantly. Sharpie markers and masking tape function as a household communication system during an outage. Label every item in your emergency kit with its purpose and location. Mark the water containers with fill date and volume. Tape direction arrows to dark hallways showing the route to the bathroom, the back door, the emergency kit storage. Apply reflective tape strips to door frames at child eye level. These aren't dramatic interventions. They are the kind of systematic advance organization that prevents the stumbling, searching, and collision-driven injuries that actually account for a significant portion of blackout-related household injuries in the first 12 hours. Peanut butter requires no preparation, no cooking, no refrigeration, and no electricity to serve. At approximately 600 calories per 100 grams, it's one of the highest caloric density shelf-stable foods available in any grocery section. It's familiar to children in a way that many emergency food products just aren't, and psychological comfort from familiar food has measurable effects on household stability during disruptions. The first aid only 350-piece kit covers lacerations, burns, and impact injuries, the three most common household injury types during power outages when people move in darkness through familiar spaces that have suddenly become unexpectedly hazardous. And a bandana combined with petroleum jelly Vaseline covers fire starting when applied to natural fiber as tinder, wound covering and moisture barrier for abrasions and minor burns, and particle filtration when worn over nose and mouth in smoky or dusty conditions. 3 functions, under $3 for both items combined. The full kit under $80 from Walmart. The tactical alternatives at $200 do not cover your county-specific weather alerts, do not address window heat loss, and include wilderness survival tools you will not use from your living room. Links for everything are in the description. Build the right kit. Subscribe to In the Beginning. See you in the next one.